Well, hey, Minorcan Navy, I don't know if you guys have heard or been following this story of the sailing yacht that sank off the coast of Italy, but the last body of the missing person on that boat was found this morning. Uh, the ship was called Bayesian. It was a massive sailing yacht, 183 feet long. It had a mast that was 237 feet tall. This is the type of sailing boat. I say that it's a sailing yacht. This is the type of sailing yacht that commands attention. If you were to see something like this, you would be pretty well. You would understand that you saw something very impressive. But the ship sank in. It was at anchor in Porticello, Sicily, just off the coast of southern Italy, following a waterspout, apparently. And from what experts are saying, it's pretty rare to see something like this happen. But the chances of the ship being buttoned up are probably pretty slim, as the ship was on anchor and in relatively calm water. Hatches may have not been closed like they were supposed to. But the really interesting story seems to be who owned this vessel and who was on the vessel, and some circumstances that those individuals had been in. Now, there were 22 people that were reported on the ship. 15 were rescued very quickly following the weather event that caused the ship to sink. But there was a guy on there. His name was Mike Lynch, and he was a tech guru from Britain, and he had been in a court battle along with another guy. We'll get into that part of it anyway, but they were in a fraud case involving the sale of his company to Hewlett-Packard for 11 billion, that's with a B, dollars in 2011. Also on the boat were the chairman of Morgan Stanley, Jonathan Bloomer, as well as Mr. Lynch's attorney, who had been successful in getting him kind of off of these, I guess, the criminal part of this. There was still a civil part of this case that was still to go on. But Chris Morvillo was his attorney. That case was held here in the United States in San Francisco, where it was heard. But they were victorious. So they're out, and I guess they're kind of celebrating this event, and the ship sinks. Now, the crazy thing about this whole thing is there was the co-defendant that was on trial with Mr. Lynch at the time was Stephen Chamberlain. This guy was killed in an accident last week in Britain. So I'm sure there's a lot of conspiracy theorists that are out there looking at alternative scenarios to these events as that happens. But it is an unfortunate series of events, to say the least. But it also makes you wonder a little bit about what's going on here with this. Anyhow, just looking at this event again, the last person was located this morning that was missing. The body was recovered. Very sad event, but happy to hear that those folks have been, at least their bodies have been recovered from the site. That's all we got. I'm very interested to hear comments on this thing, and we're going to kind of follow this as this investigation. It certainly warrants a very thorough investigation, not only of the vessel sinking, but are these other events, the court case, the accident in Britain, they need to be looked at collectively. And I think see if there's any ties or anything that goes on there. At least take a look at it and see. Hey, that's all we got for today. Thanks for watching. As always, we want to say, hey, you guys be safe out there.